Cheese Pizza by Tri-State Roofing and Siding and Rough Cut Remodeling. So, before we continue with tonight's show, I'm going to tell you about this particular guest. Very talented man. He lives in Milford, Pennsylvania. You've probably seen him in numerous places. Musician, excellent performer, Bobby Kyle. Bobby, really nice to meet you.
Barry.
So what have you been doing these days with yourself?
Just working, you know, moving and making a living like everybody else.
You have a video out?
Well, the video is in production, but the sound that we did on the last attempt from the Milford Inn is done. Everything's been completed except the video, and that's in the hands of the producers.
Who's that going to be put out by?
Oh, it's going to be a promotional tape, and myself and some other interested parties are going to put that out soon. We're basically just waiting for the video to be finished.
Now, also, you've been touring quite a bit. I know it's very difficult to get you on my show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your tour?
Well, we just move all the time, steady. You know, everyone in the band needs to work. We all support families, and this is all we do. So we have to work steady in order to make a living at this. So we move around all throughout the country here in the States, Canada, and overseas too.
You did part of Europe, I understand?
We occasionally go over there. I'd say 3 or 4 times a year at least we're in Europe.
Now, who are you playing with these days, your band?
I'm still with Johnny Copeland. That's who I work with.
And who are the other members in the band?
Johnny's the lead singer and guitarist. Floyd Phillips is the piano player. Randy Lippincott from Philadelphia. He's from Philly. He's a bass player. The drummer's from Brooklyn. His name is Barry Harrison. And I play the other guitar. Johnny and Floyd are both from Texas originally, and now they're based out of New York City.
Do you play predominantly blues or?
Yeah, blues and rhythm and blues.
Rhythm
and blues. Yeah, we do Johnny's music. Everything that Johnny does is primarily original music, and we promote that. It's more of a Texas blues sound. If you're, really deciding what type of blues it is, that's the sound.
Do you have any? Does he have any albums out? Any records?
Johnny, yeah, quite a few. Yeah, he has quite a few records. Easy to get a hold of, just about. Easily get a hold of a handful of them in any record store. Rounder, record label, Justice record label. We're now on Polygram, and yeah, Johnny signed a contract with Polygram, 5-record contract, and that's what we've been working on currently.
That's great. You doing any local gigs at all?
Not too many. We've been so busy that I haven't had a time. You know, when I am in town, I'm busy catching up. And taking care of affairs at home. And if I get a chance to play, it's usually very local. Milford, and maybe Matamoros.
Milford Inn, isn't that one?
No, I used to play the Milford Inn a lot because it was so close, and now it's been tough to do that even, because that's the kind of show where you have to play every week for like 3 or 4 weeks to get people to know that you're going to be there. And it's more casual there. I can play there when I come in off the road without any notice and just go there and play for something to do and to work out new material. But when I do a show, I heard there might be a show coming up soon where some promoters are getting involved with it. Might be some kind of festival that they're putting together. Hopefully, I'll be a part of that. I hope.
Yeah, and that would be where, in Milford?
Or I don't know. I don't know yet. I just heard rumors about it today. As a matter of fact, they're going to put a festival together, and they want to have a local acts only.
Now, when you perform locally, do you perform all by yourself, or do you have a?
I work with some local guys here in town, Port Jervis and Milford. Mostly Port Jervis bass. Dave Adams on bass, Steve Tanzen on drums, Bobby Crawford on keyboards, and myself, of course, on guitar. And we have a lot of fun. We play some shows when we get a chance. But we don't go too far out of town.
Do you have a name for that group?
Born to Blues.
Born to Blues. That's very good. Very good. I see they perform when you're not around too, at Dave Adams.
Yeah, they're
and
working, and
Steve
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for that. It's a pleasure to work with them when I come home. If I get the same time off that they have off, it works out right. They're working with a band called No Money Down, with Gary Curtis out of Stroudsburg.
Right. I think they perform down at the Alley Oops quite a bit.
So. Yeah, they're a good band, really good band. Yeah. Steve and Dave are nucleus in that band, third rhythm section. Bobby doesn't work with that band, Bobby Crawford. Oh. He works with other, venues with his uncle and other bands as well. But everybody's working out there trying to make a living,
Yeah.
The musicians.
What do you do when you're not a musician? Do you have anything else to you?
I hang out with my children.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. They probably don't get to see you much when you're on the road.
Yeah, I work hard for like 2 weeks, and then I'm home for a week. That's sort of my schedule. Sometimes I work for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, but then I have a couple weeks off too. And when I'm home, I have time to really be with them. I don't have to go anywhere or do anything. I have that whole time off with them.
Yeah. So is it as glorious as everyone thinks, this touring and being on the road, or is it really a lot harder than most people would imagine?
Well, touring is no fun. It's like any job on the road for a truck driver or a traveling salesman, anything like that. Hotels every night. You do see a lot of different places and a lot of different people you meet, but it is pretty strenuous because you have a schedule to meet, and there's no time to spend in the city. You're a lot of the most beautiful cities in the world, and you don't have a time to go sightseeing. You have to work and leave the next day. So it is rigorous that way, and it's basically just a schedule you have to follow all the time.
You ever take your family with you on the road, or is that
I used to a lot, but now my family's gotten bigger, so now just on festivals and short trips.
That's great. So, by the way, how many kids do you have now?
I have 2.
2. You want to say their names? You want to say hi to them? Or?
A boy named Dylan and a young girl named Hannah.
That's good. Now, let's see. I think you met your wife while you were touring in Europe, isn't that right?
Yeah, she's from Sweden. I met her in a club in Gothenburg when I was playing there. It was 7 or 8 years ago now.
Wow. And what, did she follow you back to the States, or did you keep in touch over
No,
a
we
number of
kept in
years?
touch. She was involved with the music scene in Gothenburg and in Sweden. And I was involved with a certain group of people who she knew, and we met that way, and we kept in touch, and one thing led to another,
Wow, that's great. Yeah. So I guess long-distance romances can work out if you if you stick with it, I guess. Right? So I see you brought your guitar along.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was in for.
Yeah. Would you like to do a little song or something, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit.
Sure. Okay. What do you want to hear?
Well, you go ahead and you decide, and do a little blues, I guess. Whatever you feel comfortable doing.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah, you can pull that over there.
Well, are you familiar with Al Green? How about we do a little Al Green song?
That sounds
kind of
nice.
what I'm in the mood for. A little laid-back thing called Love and Happiness.
Okay.
Something's going wrong. Someone's on the phone. 3 o'clock in the morning. Talking about how she can make it right. Oh, yeah. Love and happiness. Love and happiness now, baby. Nothing wrong. Can't you see, baby? Being in love with somebody. Nothing wrong with being in love with someone. Love and happiness. Love and happiness now, baby. Love and happiness. I'll be good to you. You be good to me. We'll be good together. love can do. Make you do right, baby. Come home early at night. Make you stay out all night long. Make you do a whole lot of wrong. Baby, let me tell you about the power.
That's good. How'd you get into the blues? Is that something you always wanted to do, or?
I was always interested in music, and from the get-go, I used to listen to a local band playing next door to me, where I grew up, and that was Al Prisco and Ollie North, and some old timers, only local guys probably know about. They had a band together. They were playing a lot of rock and blues. Eric Clapton and Rolling Stones. Back during the 60s, that was, when I was a kid, growing up, they were playing this, music, which was very strong blues influenced, And as I listened to them play and started to try to play myself and get involved with listening to music, I had some good guidance. I had some good friends and relatives that put me on track with the original writers of the songs, like Robert Johnson and Muddy Waters and T-Bone Walker, and, what have you, So I started listening to a lot of those versions, the original versions of the songs. Yeah, and I became more interested in that, and that hit me stronger than the others, the more contemporary music at that time. That was contemporary then, and then now it's classic rock, they call it. Right. But the blues is now making a comeback. I've been playing the blues since 1969, 1970, since I first started playing music. As really, really seriously playing. And now it's starting to make a comeback, and things are starting to happen with the blues, and I'm just fortunate enough that I've stuck with it long enough to reap some of the benefits there.
Why do you feel it's coming back around? Do you have any idea?
Well, I think the blues speaks the truth. There's a lot of truth in the blues. People go through a lot of phases with the music over the years. I've watched disco come and go, and various types of rock and roll, and heavy metal now isn't as popular as it was, and dance music, all these various things that came about after supergroups like the Beatles and Rolling Stones. And what has happened, I think, is people become more serious about wanting to hear something with a groove, something that hits home, means something. And the blues has something to speak. It's the truth, whether it's about the hard times, which everyone can relate to, or your car breaking down, or whatever it might be. And blues can be up too. It can be good party music,
right? And
boogie woogie and stuff like that. And people can relate to that. Whereas a lot of the stuff that has been happening was just trendy. So now all the roots of the music that came with the blues is coming back. It's nice to see. Yeah. I'm glad to be part of it, actually.
So, well, some of our viewers may not know it. You were born and you've lived in Milford all your life, is that right?
Yeah, basically. I was born here in Port Jervis.
Oh, you were born here in Port Jervis?
St. Mary's Hospital, yeah. And then I grew up in Milford, basically. That's where my home is. And I moved away for about 10 years or so, and came back to this area when I had a family of my own.
Did you go to school here then?
I went to St. Mary's School for 5 years, and I went to Delaware Valley after that. So
if someone, a young musician, wanted to get started, do you have any advice you could give them? Anything you could tell them to get them going?
Yeah, just play your heart out. Play what you feel, and don't pay no mind to what anybody says. Just play. Play what you want to play, and be yourself. And then and get out there and play for as many people as you can. But whether it doesn't matter how much it pays at first. When you're young, you can do that.
Right.
And you have to get out there and let people see what you got. And that's how you hook up with different people who were in the business and move forward from there.
Okay. Well, let's see. Do you have anything planned here for the near future? You're going to do any more tours here? I think you said you were getting ready to...
Yeah, I'm leaving this evening.
You're leaving this evening, that's right.
Yeah, we're playing at the Chicago Blues Festival this Saturday night. And then we go to Memphis, finish up a record, and then to Texas, Spain. We have quite an extensive tour ahead of us here.
Right, so you're pretty much you're booked for the whole summer. Yeah. Which is the reason why we did this tape segment tonight instead of live, because...
Yeah, we have a little time off in the middle of July, and I do know that there's going to be a festival with Midnight Slim, Paul Lyon, No Money Down, and myself. That's in the works right now. Other than what I talked about before with you, that they're talking a tentative date of July 13th, and I hope it comes off. I'll be around for that if it comes down.
Right. Now, Paul Lyon's playing with what band has he got?
The Merchants of Groove. That's his own band.
Groove, right. And he'll be joining us here on my show, my final show, which is going to be aired next week live, and along with Will Hoppe and another number of guests.
Yeah, Will's a wonderful, wonderful artist. I love Will. Yeah.
Will be coming out with his new CD and cassette.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah.
Have you heard it?
Yeah, I've heard some on the radio too. Lonely Hotel.
Yeah. Lonely Hotel. Yeah, we debuted it here on my show, and but he hasn't, as far as I know, he hasn't had a copy to sell yet. But as of next week, I guess he's going to bring some with him and
good for him
and sell them on the air. I guess we'll give a few away. No, you can't have any. So. Everybody in the audience always does that. They want free copies.
Yeah, right.
So when you get your album out, we'll do the same thing, I guess. Usually we get call-ins, but as I said earlier, this is a tape segment, so there won't be any call-ins tonight. And there's usually quite a few people that are interested in what's going on, and people from the area that are becoming successful. Do you consider yourself successful now, or do you feel that you have?
Well, I got a long way to go. That's a strange question. People think that you're successful because you're working. You know, it's hard times out here with music. It's everyone's scuffling for the same places to work. And if you have some jobs out of town or are traveling with myself, everyone assumes that you're very successful. It's a hard go. The successful thing about my career is that it's longevity. I have been able to continue doing what I enjoy to do. That, to me, is success, to do what I want to do.
It's not a dollars and cents thing.
Well, the dollars and cents are very important, but I have to work harder to make that. Yeah. It's not that I don't get paid well. It's like anybody working, and I'm just happy that I can do what I want to do. And I'll tell you, man, I've had an opportunity to work on some great record products and with some great artists who I've always admired through the years. And you can't put a price tag on that kind of project, you know. Right. That to me is really important for me in my heart and soul. So, I mean, where do you put a price tag on doing what you want to do?
Yeah, there's no price on that.
It's hard, you know. Yeah. So that to me is success, just the longevity of my career, being able to play music and work with these various people is, to me, success. And,
well, it hasn't always been easy like that. There were times where you didn't play as often as you would like.
Man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we used to work. We used to work out of our car basically. You know, when I first decided to go on the road, I say we, speaking of the band. Right. Eddie Kirkland in particular, I think of, you know, and the Silver King Rhythm Band before him. I toured with Eddie for 6 years on the road, and it was a hard travel, but we stuck in there. We hung in there tight, and we had a lot of fun. $1 million worth of fun, and learned a lot.
Yeah.
But we were doing all the time. We were just, you know, everybody was trying to get by, and we did. We got by. Wow. And we accomplished a lot. You know, we had a lot of fun along the way. It was great.
And you learn and
you get better, and that's good for.
So basically, someone starting out, maybe they shouldn't be in such a big rush to get at the top. Just enjoy the ride along the way, and hope that they can get themselves to a point where their music is their work.
Yeah, well, I think you really have to be honest with yourself and try to be honest with your music. If you try to play something and do something that is not comfortable or real for you, I don't think it's ever going to really hit. And if it does, it would scare me, I think, if I was a hit overnight, because then I would have a hard time dealing with that. And most things that are like that, hitting overnight, don't last.
No,
and I'm in this for the longevity. This is my life, my livelihood, and as long as I can play music, I'll be happy. That's what I'm in for, the long term.
Any heroes? Do you have any heroes that you?
A lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. There's a lot of great players out there, and there's they're all wonderful people too. The ones that I've met anyway.
Have you met them?
Yeah, a lot of them that I've met, but those heroes to me just set an example. To just do the right thing and be yourself, write your own music, try to write your own music, and play what you feel. That's why I said to young people, don't give up, just keep playing. If you really feel it, play. And the money is not everything. And to begin with, you have to, so to speak, pay your dues, like everybody says, right?
Yeah.
And you have to work your way up.
Yeah. Well,
and that means playing a lot of free gigs.
I mean, obviously you didn't make your money just playing guitar. You had to work.
Oh yeah, I still do.
Painting and
I still do. I still
carpentry and everything else.
Yeah,
you
could probably catch me on my days off in Milford raking leaves even.
Yeah,
you know, it's because that's what makes the world go around, right?
It makes it fun.
Yeah, well, puts food on the table. I mean, it's tough. There's always expenses in every business. And a musician has to buy new strings or new clothes or what have you. The car has to be working right. There's a lot of things that are involved with being on the road.
Right.
And a lot of expenses that are hidden, and you find out about it as you get along in the business. And these things, you know, cannot always be paid with just playing out at nightclubs or shows. So you have to do things that you don't want to do to get what you want. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'll do whatever it takes to do what I want to do.
Well, that's a good attitude.
And that's
I think everyone should have that attitude.
Well, musicians have to really have to have that attitude.
Yeah, I guess. Because a lot of musicians, of course, are out of work more often than they work, I think.
Well, a lot of musicians stay local. And that's, maybe they don't have the contacts or the transportation or the equipment needed or what have you.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe they don't want to travel, and that's their prerogative. If you're going to be a local musician, then not only do you have the less places to play at, but you have the competition of the other musicians too that are living here or coming into town here. You can't play in the same venue every month and expect to make a living at that. And also, it's good to get out of the area, not only for the contacts but for the competition. It makes you on edge. You play better. You learn more. Playing local is tough because it really puts you in that syndrome where you're limited to what you can make and what you can do and who you're going to meet.
Right.
Everything. So as a musician, you have to be willing to travel, and the travel will make you grow with contacts and your playing. Right. It's helped me, and I know it's helped many other musicians that I know, and we have that kind of common link to talk about when we discuss this whole dilemma that we're talking about now. And I think that if you stay in one place, you can make it, get by, but I don't think it's really going to help your career in the long run. I really don't believe that, and it really is tough to make a living playing in the same venues every night of the week.
Now, growing up here in Port Jervis area, or in Milford as it was with you, I've talked to artists in the past, musicians and that, and they seem to feel that there's like we have our own little hub or a little community where artists seem to spin out of. Do you go along with that? Do you think, or do you just think that it's, on average, we've just got a average number of musicians and artists per capita for the area?
That's an interesting question. I think what it is that there are artists and musicians like you're mentioning everywhere. But in this area is a small area, and it's a unique area because the community is together, and everybody sort of comes together and meets each other, and it's a small community here, which is a fortunate thing. So everybody knows everybody, and they get together, and it's like a family thing. Where, opposed to a big city, it would be a lot harsher. So I don't think there's any more musicians per capita or anything like that. I don't know about census like that. But I believe that the thing that's special about this area is the family-like atmosphere. And it's such a small community that everybody does know everybody, and everybody mingles together and works together. And actually, I've done a lot of things with like Will Hoppy and Caroline Westfall and Pete Canaris. There's a number of musicians, local musicians, Bobby Urich. I've done stuff with the Lucky Seven Blues Band and all the people that were responsible for promotion of all the festivals. It's one big family here. Whereas in a city, I find it's a lot harsher. And that's the only way I can describe it. I think it's the same everywhere as far as talent. The talent, God, there's so many closet musicians, even in this area.
Maybe they, in this area, they come out of the closet a little more because
Maybe so.
they have people like you
More comfortable.
that are willing to say, yeah, why don't you bring your instrument out and join us? And instead of, like you say, it's harsher in the big city, so then they feel like, well, I don't want to take my instrument out in front of these fellas because they'll just laugh at me or something, and they don't give them the encouragement.
Well, the competition's fierce everywhere, and I really believe that there's great musicians everywhere. I know that I've run into closet musicians here in this area constantly. It amazes me.
Yeah.
Of all age groups,
Yeah.
excellent musicians, and it boggles my mind to think that they're not out performing. But that's their situation that they're dealing with.
Well, it's very tough to walk out in front of those people, no matter.
Well, yeah, that is too. Yeah.
I think that's being a musician. That's probably the hardest thing to overcome is the fear of the people there.
That and the thing we talked about before about being honest. Being able to relate what you feel, and basically putting it all out on the line.
Right.
And that's what an artist or an entertainer of any business has to do.
Right.
You yourself have to get out in front of the camera or people and lay it all on the line, and just be yourself. And that's what a good entertainer does. A good entertainer is comfortable and can just lay it all out there like that.
Right. You see.
It's not a manipulating thing. It's really a natural thing. It's an honest thing. And when a musician can do that with their music, that's when they're an artist, a real true artist. I believe that anyway. There's a lot of great artists around here that really are, and it's just because it's a small community. I believe that everyone is so in contact with everyone else. Plus, we have a lot of venues here that support the acts. You also have this station here, which is supportive of myself and everybody that I know.
A number of years.
It's a wonderful opportunity.
Right.
You don't run into that in every
The
corner of the world.
station got away from it for a while, and part of what I'm trying to do is bring it back. For a while there, it was all music, practically, and other than council meetings, and then we moved into the new studio, and you didn't see the variety of musicians and that we had there for a while. And I'm hoping to see that come back. I mean, it could become too much at points.
Like anything.
Yeah. So you need to make it special when it happens. But it is a good place for young artists to come to get their feet wet.
Yeah, I would encourage any young artist that's out there listening to this, or anybody out there that knows any young artist, to come over here and talk to Access 8 or Barry.
Any of the
They'd love to
representatives.
have you out here and give you a chance to show what you got.
Yeah, we have
It's
a show that comes up. It follows my show. Carl Richards has the Keeping Country Strong. He doesn't always do country. It could be blues like yourself or a variety. So
Carl has a band of his own too, right?
Yeah. He performs regularly, and
I used to hear a lot of his band, a lot of good things about his band, but I never had the opportunity to check him out.
Yeah.
I saw him walking around the studio here earlier.
Yeah, I see him here in the studio. I've never heard his band actually play here myself. He brings in a number of good bands up. And speaking of country now, seems the trend right now seems to be country. Everyone seems to be coming out with country, but
even we did.
Yeah.
We did. On this last record, we have a country song.
Did you see where they